Yeah. Well, listen, I asked you, is there one question that you want me to ask? And you told me to ask this particular question. So I'm saying that as a disclaimer because
Mhm.
because it's a little unusual to ask. Tell me, tell us about your biggest failure.
Oh, my biggest failure. I've had so many. And I've had
This,
so many since I asked you to ask me that question. So I'm
that
not
was
sure how
just
to rank them
yesterday.
now. I'm not sure how to rank them now. Um, and and I will say this, maybe this is my most public failure. It's certainly not my biggest failure. So I phrased that question incorrectly, but it was my most public failure.
Okay.
So, like you, I am. I'm a singer. I'm a musician. It goes way back for me. Musical theater through high school and into early college, and I sang at church most of my life. Along the way, I developed a proclivity um, to sing national anthems at ball games, and it just kept coming up. And I don't know what it is about that song that suits my voice, but it normally comes out pretty well. And so I've been doing it for years and years, and God has blessed me with some awesome opportunities like Mavericks games and Stars games and Rangers games, all kinds of college stuff. So when I get the chance to do it, I jump at the opportunity.
Right
Well,
on. Yep.
yeah, so about 5 years ago, this is pre-sickness, this is pre-pandemic. I was doing it at a Rangers game at the old ballpark, and it was actually a game against the Minnesota Twins, as fate would have it. Um, National anthem actually went great, but it's an August day in Texas. What is it? It is super hot. It is 100 degrees. Again, national anthem goes great, knocked it out of the park, so to speak. But we sit there for 7 innings because the Rangers also do God Bless America during the seventh inning stretch. So I'm excited, but man, it is hot, it is sweaty, I'm getting tired, and my voice is getting tired at the same time. So I'm trying to keep hydrating. I'm trying. Finally, gets to the seventh inning. I go down in the tunnel. Uh, I get my starting pitch off my phone, which I always like to start on a G for God Bless America. My phone dies. Okay. Long half inning. I'm waiting there in the dugout, waiting. Well, I totally lose my pitch. And so by the time I go out there, I end up starting on an A. So I start 2 steps up from where I really wanted to be. It still sounded great up until the very, very end. I tried to go for the high A at the end. I didn't know it was an A. I thought it was a G. I was hoping it was a G. But I go, home sweet home. That's how it should have sounded, but it sounded more like, and it sounded wonderful up until that point. And here's the thing, God Bless America is televised.
Oh,
And so everybody on whatever it was, Fox Sports Southwest and Fox Sports Northwest probably has seen this thing, and it immediately goes viral.
oh,
Um, and I am, on one hand, mortified. On the other hand, like, oh man, I guess it's just the break. Sometimes you screw up, and this time I screwed up, and I really could have gotten down in the dumps about it. Because it did stink. And there were some people saying, oh my gosh, this guy's, screwed up. Obviously, the only reason it's out there on Twitter or TikTok or whatever at the time was because I screwed up. If I hit the note square on, they're not going to be throwing it out there. Um, but what I took out of it, and I thought how God redeemed it, was that even though this thing was getting like 500,000 views on Twitter and stuff of people laughing at it, my personal friends who came to my defense that day, or people that I just kind of knew on the periphery, knew of, but didn't have a relationship with, they came to my defense so strongly on Twitter, like, hey, guys, stuff happens, but you should hear this guy sing. Normally, he's spot on, just stuff happens. John, we love you. You are awesome. Don't worry about it. And it it gave me a chance to laugh at myself. it gave me a chance to, be brave and get out there and do it again as soon as I could the next time and not shy away from it. And, it could have been a big failure. Certainly in the moment, it was a big failure. But in the end, God redeemed it. Ends up being a funny story, and also just a story of, hey, if something goes wrong, just keep going, get up, try again. And so when I think of failures, and especially funny failures, I think of that one.
Kudos to you for sharing that story. And I can only imagine, well, I mean, I'm going to share a quick story with you.
Yeah.
There's nothing that a worship pastor that can do on stage that could be more wrong than the stuff that I've done over my lifetime. And some of it has been my own doings, and some of it has been external circumstances, like your phone not working because it's hard to find pitch without your phone.
Yeah.
When you say you screwed up, it's your phone died. So,
Yeah.
I was
Should have gone old school. Should have had a pitch pipe with me.
There you go. I was singing at our church. We had just opened up the second campus back in about 2003, 2004. Large church, 2 campuses. I was the worship pastor. I bounced between the 2 Sunday to Sunday. And we were doing a good old Michael W. Smith tune called "My Place in This World." Do you know that song? Help me find
Yes.
my place in this world.
My place in this world.
Yeah, that's
looking
it.
for a reason.
That's right.
Roaming through the night. Oh my gosh, you're taking me
Well,
back, man.
Well, I was doing that song. Well, 3/4 of the way through, it modulates.
Yes.
And so everybody modulated except the lead guitar player.
Oh no.
I'm not going to mention his name because he might hear this, but he remembers this.
Yeah.
If he's listening, he remembers this. And he stayed in the other key.
Well,
so,
he played it how it should have been written, how he thought it should have been written.
So we finished the song in 2 different keys. It was an absolute train wreck, but at least it was a full service.
It was a train wreck for Jesus.
It was a complete train wreck. And so I go up to him afterwards and I just look at him, I'm kind of mad. I said, what do you, he said, sorry, I missed the key change. I said, well, then you got to stop. you got to stop, right? So it was one of those moments where it's like, should this guy really be the worship pastor of Friendship Church? I don't know about that because I didn't throw him under the bus, and I'm not going to throw him under the bus here because I'm not going to mention his name, but he did it. He did it. Yeah. Well, I hear you. Thanks for sharing that.
Of course.